Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 850, written by Cerocontexto. I was in two places at the same time. I live with my mom and brother. Me and my brother were in the living room sitting next to each other. From where the couch is, you can see the bathroom door where my mom was brushing her teeth to go to bed. From one moment to another, there was nobody in the bathroom anymore, which I thought was strange because I didn't hear the door open. And then I got up to check where my mom was, since it was odd to me, because she always says goodnight and that this time she didn't. I saw her room door was shut, meaning she already went to bed, but I still checked the other room just in case she was there, but she wasn't. She heard me open the door to the other room, and so she texted me, "Did you already come out of the bathroom? I didn't see you, that's why I didn't say goodnight." I then replied that I didn't even go to the bathroom, that I was in the kitchen and the living room the whole time for the past 2 hours. She told me that I wasn't and that I had gone into the bathroom right after. I go back to the living room and ask my brother if my mom went to bed already, to double check. He said she did, and my mom says that she said goodnight to everyone but me because she didn't find me even though I was sitting at the couch right next to my brother, who she did say goodnight to. I was already so confused about what happened because I knew for a fact that I never got up from the couch, much less went to the bathroom. The only time that I got up was when I realized my mom wasn't in the bathroom anymore. At the time that she left the bathroom, or rather that I just saw no one was in there, I was on the couch and somehow she came and said goodnight to my brother, but she didn't see me sitting there. It's like I wasn't there. We were out of phase. I didn't see her at all either. To me, it's like she never even came into the living room. How is it possible that her and my brother were all in the same place, but according to them, I wasn't there, and according to me, she's the one that wasn't there? But then also, who was in the bathroom? My mom said that after she left, I went in, and that the door was locked with the light on, except I never went in, nor did my brother. It was just us at the house, and none of us had gone to the bathroom after her. My brother then tells me that my mom said goodnight to him twice. The first time was before she went into the bathroom. He also said that she said goodnight to me too, when I was sitting at the kitchen chair. That's when I thought that I was completely losing my mind because I was never at that kitchen chair, and my mom never said goodnight to me. My mom doesn't remember saying goodnight twice, but my brother is fully convinced she did. I don't know who my brother saw at the kitchen chair with my mom, but it wasn't me. I was never there, and my mom says she's not sure about saying goodnight twice. All she's sure about is not seeing me in the kitchen, and seeing someone in the bathroom. There's no way my brother saw me in the kitchen chair, and my mom saw me in the bathroom, when at the time they claimed that, I was on the couch and never moved from there. So my three concerns right now are, how did I not see her, and did she not see me when we were in the same room? It's not possible. 2, if the bathroom door was locked and the light was on, and everyone swears they didn't go in, then who was in the bathroom? 3, why does my brother claim he saw me somewhere I know I was never at? Case notes for file 850. I was in two places at once? Yeah, there's a fair bit to unpack here. If this was just an alternate reality crossover event, then why did your brother remember your mom saying goodnight twice? She's unsure she did that, she doesn't think she did. So your brother was out of phase as well in some context. And then your brother saw you where you weren't either, sitting at the kitchen table. There's a lot going on here where there's jumbled perceptions involved. I don't think there's any quantum immortality here. I think there was some sort of local distortion that enabled all three of you to see into other universes without actually physically being there. And so in this distorted area, you were seeing other universes where, there aren't major differences, but in one universe you could be sitting at the kitchen table, in another you were in the bathroom, and the transition between them in terms of perception, well, you're not actually there, it's just signals reaching us. And in that context, light can travel pretty quickly, as we know. So the transition is very quick and seamless, and it applies for sound as well, which is just pressure waves in the atmosphere. Again, it's all just information, reverberations in the various fields and elements around us. I think this universal peering, as I like to call it now, can explain a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of glitches that we experience, déjà vu perhaps as well, or either glitches in the buffered reality or alternate timelines, other universes that we're seeing, without actually having to physically travel there. It could even account for doppelganger sightings as well, but not if you're seeing them at the same time, only if they're in different spots. If you're seeing them at the same time, there would be something else than universal peering. But no one saw each other in this story at the same time. It's all just in different locations that the original person, you or your mom or your brother, didn't believe they were at.
Case file number 851, written by cupstackerbob. Lost contacts randomly re-emerge. My girl and I share a studio apartment in New York City, and we have deadbolt locks. She wears contacts and one morning shook me awake because she couldn't find her contact case. She has a few cases, but only uses one at a time. I got up too, and we looked and looked and looked. Not in any of her regular places. Not under the bed, not in any bags or backpacks, not on the nightstand. She has to go about her day, so she begrudgingly opens another set. We go about our lives, remarking how weird it was she lost them and the case. 1 week passes, and while getting into bed, I see her case on my nightstand and remind her to take them out before she falls asleep. To my surprise, instead of reaching towards my side, she reaches towards her nightstand and takes out her contacts from them. I become very confused and grab the case I see and show her that there are contacts in there. I swear it just popped out of nowhere in the center of my nightstand. Super weird. We have a super small place. There's no way we overlooked looking in the first place we'd look.
Case notes for file 851. Lost contacts re-emerge. Right, I mean, I'm not surprised that the contacts were returned. Actually, the contacts being returned in this case is curious, because they're not especially high value, and I don't think returning them would have any meaningful impact in the long-term course of your life, because you have other cases, you have other contacts, so you'd get along fine without them. So it kind of throws a wrench in my theory. When items are returned, I think they probably have some high value or importance to the person's life. That's why either the server developer that returns them or the ghost spirit entity that does travel long distance to find the person it belongs to, they would only do that if it has any relevance. I mean, if it's just a tennis ball in my case or a contact case in yours, why return it? It doesn't really affect anything. So I think along with all the intentional returns, there are just random spurts in the universe. We know actually in quantum mechanics that matter can spawn from nothing. Now, this is happening all over the place, all the time. We call this the quantum foam, where tiny virtual particles, we call them, they're real in the sense that they exist. They're reverberations in the fields of reality, but they annihilate each other because they're formed in pairs and they instantly collide and one is anti, the other is normal, and that creates an annihilation. Now, it is in theory possible for nothing to spawn something, given enough time. Part of it is energy. The universe has to be in equilibrium and energy balance. So if an item is dematerialized, de-rendered from the universe, you could account it for a certain amount of information that's lost, taken out of RAM, I guess you could say. And then restoring that, well, it's just occupying the same amount of space, RAM, energy that it had before. It fits perfectly fine with what I understand about reality and physics as we know it. It could be done. We don't have the technology to de-render an item or dematerialize it, convert it all to energy and then back into matter. But it isn't impossible. It's within the realm of physics that would allow this.
Bonus file, written by ireallylikecows. When the ghost bear attacks. Hey everyone, I've been thinking a lot about a family trip to Colorado I took when I was 15. This was about April or May 2012. My family and I had driven up from San Antonio, Texas, and were vacationing in Colorado for a bit. We stopped at many places just to take in the views and stretch our legs, but ultimately we decided to spend our first couple of nights in Estes Park. On our way up there, my father was telling my sister and I about the Stanley Hotel and how Stephen King had infamously gotten snowed in there. His stay would inspire the writing of The Shining. Other random trivia. We didn't end up staying at the Stanley, but at a smaller lodging just across the street. I think it was called Discovery Lodge or something like that. Anyway, when we finally got to our destination after 18 hours of driving, we were tired and simultaneously ecstatic to be surrounded by such great scenery. We went out and explored Estes Park, got dinner, and returned to our room relatively early so we could get a jump start at Rocky Mountain State Park the following day. The next morning when I woke up, I felt a burning sensation on my back, but I figured I was just sore from sitting in the car for so long. I slept in a white t-shirt and pajama pants, and when I woke up, my father alerted everyone that there was a bear sighting the night prior, and it had ransacked the outdoor garbage bins in the lodging we were staying at. Cool. We all stepped out to the balcony to see the garbage cans, when my sister asked me why I had blood on my shirt. I didn't know. Logically, I walked to the bathroom to see if I had any cuts or anything, and there were 3 horizontal scratches on my back that I do not remember receiving. I couldn't figure out where they had come from, and I remember not having them before bed the night before. Someone would have pointed it out to me anyway, as I was shirtless before bed. It was hot. I was a teenager, and my reaction to it was, whatever, though my family and I often made jokes remarking that it must be some ghost or spiritual entity that did it while I was sleeping. Or maybe it was a bear. Anyway, the rest of our vacation went normally. The cuts eventually turned into scars. To this day, people don't believe me when I recount this story, but it's only when my dad or sister ask me if I remember getting those scratches that people realize I wasn't messing around. I was wondering if any of you know anyone who had similar experiences, or if you had an experience like this within the area. I honestly have no idea how I got the cuts, and would have felt myself bleeding had they occurred prior to me sleeping.
Case notes for the bonus file. When a ghost bear attacks. What a cool little story, and very peculiar. And that it does seem like the bear is what attacked you, but obviously it didn't come into the room and actually scratch you in the room, because I think other people would have noticed a bear wandering inside a hotel and then breaking into a room. They open the door and then close the door, lock the door. I don't think that happened. So there is another possibility that it's not just some astral projection from the bear. Maybe you sleepwalked outside and the bear was by the bins trying to rummage for food, saw you, swiped at you, and obviously you're still sleepwalking, so then you go back inside and lay back in. That's the only mundane explanation I can think of. If you have a history of sleepwalking, it's possible and maybe likely even. But if it's not that, maybe indeed the bear somehow projected its essence and spirit into the room and started swiping. I don't know why it would do that though. Maybe some sort of aggressive behavior to buffer and ward people away from what it thought was a jackpot of food. I guess it also poses a question of, are animals sentient and to what degree? I think we all agree that trees aren't sentient. Plants can be intelligent, they can react to stimuli, but they're not self-aware to what we understand requires a brain. But how developed does that brain have to be? Technically, it's impossible to prove that anyone else is even sentient. I don't know, maybe you could all be programs of the Matrix and I'm the only real player. Probably not, but there's no way to confirm that. All we can go on is assumptions based on brain matter and brain waves and how complex they are. So could a bear be sentient? Absolutely. And in that case, if there's sentience, I think there's will, and if there's will, there could be an imprint or echo or essence. I guess you can call that a soul that can traverse beyond the physical body, the connection to the character from another place. And that's my notes for tonight. If you enjoyed the stories, leave a like, consider subscribing if you're new, and that's me, Kinetic Symphony, signing off.